everybody. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Yes, I'm saying Happy New Year in March. I took the month of February off, so it feels like a Happy New Year. And I didn't share with my guest today, who is just this beautiful, tiny little thing that I just got to know a couple months ago. I feel like I've known her for a long time. I didn't share with her before we went live that it's a new day, a new time, and a new name of a show. And she's my first guest for this new day, new time, new name of a show. Welcome back. Heart to Heart Biz Chats are now real life chats with Kim. We're going to talk about life, business, and more. We switched from Tuesday to Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to kick the week off here at Bold Radio Station. We're broadcasting live right now at boldradiostation.com. Hop on over. You'll see on the home page the broadcasting live. Jump on in, listen. I'm excited. We've had a lot going on the month of February. There's been a merge of partnerships. We're getting ready to launch a product. Everything's all a secret. I'll start talking about it next week. And there's just a lot going on. I want to give a big shout out to the team. They are the oil to the Bold Radio Station wheel, so to speak. We've got the two producers, Nesha and Damian, and of course Ingrid, who just drives everything and keeps us all focused and at task and sane, if that's even possible. They really help Lynn and I stay focused, get things out there, and they're just amazing. A big, huge shout out to them all. Big, huge hug, and I adore them, and they're great, and they're wonderful, and they all work hard. They really make things happen to get these shows up and out the door. Proud of them. Anyways, my guest today is only about 20 minutes due east from me here in Michigan. I'm not quite sure we were doing this in person together in my studio with the baby Zoe and everything and baby Grace, and we can just have one happy real life chats. But ReeJade J. Richmond is a sought-after speaker, author, and celebrity business and leadership expert. She graduated from Albany State University with a BS in criminal justice and a minor in psychology. She also possesses a JD, or Juris Doctor, JD, aka law degree, with a concentration in international law. After achieving her law degree, ReeJade was blessed with a job at a world-renowned celebrity law firm where she worked on many exciting projects. Excuse me. But after some soul searching, ReeJade discovered her true calling and founded Search for Her Existent LLC. That's SHE, Search for Her Existence. She creates women leaders. Her goal in life is to create as many legacies as she can before she dies. ReeJade currently resides in Michigan with her beloved husband, and she claims her daughter is her daughter, but it's my baby Zoe. So, hey, ReeJade, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Don't you like how I always claim that baby of yours? That's my baby.
You keep on doing it. You're going to speak it into existence, and one day you and Steve are going to look up. Zoe's going to be on your porch in a basket.
Oh, and I'm going to go, woohoo, come on in, Zoe. We'll let mommy and daddy know where you're at, but come on in. You got your own room upstairs with your own bathroom. And let me see. Shall we begin the shopping, the manicures, the pedicures, and luncheons and dinners? Come on in, girl. Come on.
Good luck. Good luck. You're going to be filing bankruptcy messing around with her.
That's funny you say that, ReeJade. I've always said that to Steve. I always said, you know what? If we had a little girl, we would be in the bankruptcy line. I'd be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble.
It's easy to get there with a girl.
So let's jump on in here. This is about real life chats with Kim. And yes, I forgot to tell you, ReeJade, you are my first guest on launching the new day, time, and show name under this new Bold Radio platform. And I'm excited. Thanks for being here today. So appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I know you very well in a very short amount of time. I know your journey. And so I want you to share with these women business owners, and not just the women business owners, because we do also have male listeners as well. But more importantly, because I know you work a lot with women, and so do I, is what does it take to be a SHE, Search for Her Existence leader? What are some of the ingredients?
Well, it takes number one, you have to be self-aware. You have to know who you are. And oftentimes we lack in direction and in success in life because we lack direction. And it comes through looking at yourself in the mirror and really identifying who you are, where you want to go, and why you want to go there, and what it takes for you to get there. So, number one, to be, a leader, as classified what I do and train with women, is like, number one, it first starts with you. You can't help anyone else until you understand you. And sometimes, one of the reasons why I did found Search for Her Existence, like, can I joke around? Like, I tell it like it is. Like, I was a hot mess in my early 20s. Now, I'm not that old, but yeah, a couple years ago, if you knew me, you'll be like, I don't like that person, because I didn't even like me. And I was great success, like far as personal, like professionally, I was the bomb.com. But personally, my social life was terrible. I had a bad attitude. I didn't know how to communicate with other people effectively. And those things tend to show up as I got older. And in short, it kind of hindered some of the opportunities I could have gotten.
You know,
So it
I,
begins, number one, with self-awareness.
you,
Definitely self-aware.
I love that. And I'm sorry, I'm jumping in here,
Mhm.
ReeJade. I love that. So let's stop there for a minute. It is, and that's, and every time you say that, because I've heard you say that now a couple of times, I just look at you and shake my head and go, "You're lying." And that it was so not you alone, because you are young with a very beautiful older soul. You're grounded, and you've been through a lot in a very short amount of time. And I have to remind myself of that, And I think you and I were just giggling about that a couple days ago about. Okay, wait a minute. That's right. You are young. Forgot, palm to my forehead. Forgot. But so I agree with you. And you know what? We got a lot of bullshit out there, on the social media platforms. Oh, I'm doing this for me because I am so great, and then the screen goes down, and then all hell and shit breaks loose. So, what one place can someone start within themselves? Because you're right, we can't lead unless we're leading ourselves. We can't love unless we love ourselves. We cannot be awesome when we're a freaking hot mess within ourselves. So what one step can someone begin today on themselves?
The first step is wanting to change. You have to have that desire. It can't be someone else telling you to do it. It's something that you have to, in a sense, you have to kind of be close to rock bottom to truly fully have to experience the transformation process of truly changing and then identifying your strengths and weaknesses. I think that's where people fall short at. It's sometimes we're good at identifying our weaknesses, but we can't identify our strengths. We're so focused on the negative. And I think number one, it just really starts with that conversation that you have with yourself. You just have to sit down and really, what I did, honestly, I sat down with myself, wrote down a list. One side was good things about ReeJade. The right side was bad things about ReeJade. And I looked at everything as a whole. Like, I celebrated the successes I had that I liked about myself. I, celebrated me. And I think sometimes us as women, we wear so many multiple hats that we forget to celebrate ourselves, and we just get in this automatic routine of doing things. And that creates a pattern that continues to deteriorate ourselves and our self-esteem and our confidence, because we're so focused on just doing a routine and we're not focused on taking care of ourselves. So what I did was I started celebrating myself. And then on the other end of the spectrum, where my weaknesses were, I started working on them. Like, yeah, I know I have a short fuse. So I worked on being patient more. I started practicing patient exercises. I cussed a lot at one time. I still cuss, but not as much as I used to. Like, every other word, yeah, it was like a F bomb, MF bomb, you name it. Like, I had, like, my husband would tell you, like, I have came a long way. Um, you know, just I just started working on myself. Like, I started going to training seminars, like leadership training seminars, personal development seminars. I started reading more books. I started teaching myself new things I started teaching myself about life, things they don't teach you in college. Like, here I am with all this, you know, book knowledge, on business and law and criminal justice, but I had no common sense knowledge, if you will, about how to live life, how to be a good friend, how to be a good wife, how to be a daughter, how to be a mentor, how to be a leader. They don't teach you these things in school. So I taught myself, and then from my background, I didn't grow up with a role model or a mentor. I didn't have that type of support. So for me, it was like I'm just going through the motions, and that's really what she is. She is that foundation for those women who are looking for help. They are looking, seeking, like they've been in life, they've been going through the motions, and they don't have any direction or guidance, and they're like, hey, I want it. Like, hey, I'm good professionally, but my personal life is sucking here. Hey, I'm good personally, but my professional life, and she is that bridge to bring it all together, to bring that balance in the form of leadership. Because we lead in all aspects of our life. It's not just in the job arena. We lead everything that we do as women. We are leading. Like I like to say, is a thing I like to say is, we women, we are the axis that makes the world turn. We are the neck that makes a man's head turn. So we are very instrumental, and we have that power, but it's just about harnessing that power, becoming aware of that power, and knowing how to direct that power. Because a lot of times we have these type of talents and power, and we don't even recognize it, and we use them for the wrong things.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I get into the feminine and the masculine energy. We all have feminine and masculine energy. Men, women, we both have both energies in us. And women we're not powerful. We're power filled. And we can lead and be the paradigm shifts of the world. Now, that doesn't mean men are dogs and leave them behind and kick them in and that, all that stuff. Not at all. We need men too as well. But you're right. Women are the leaders of a paradigm shift that this Mother Earth, this whole world is screaming for right now. And you're right. If we're Oh my, I'm still sitting here, and I know your bio, and I'm looking at your bio and I'm listening to you going, okay, I was a hot mess. I'm like, oh, okay, damn, how can this girl be a hot mess? And my nickname to ReeJade, everybody, is Harvard. I call her Harvard once in a while, and get through all this intense, the law degree and the bar exam and work for this world-renowned law practice here in Detroit, Michigan, and represent celebrities, which you have done. And again, everybody, she's young. She's not that old. She's young. And be a hot mess and really turn this around. It still to this day blows me away. It really does. It blows me away about you, ReeJade. But you're right. We have to clean ourselves up, and we can't just be clean in our business and screwed up in our personal life. And we can't be clean in the personal life and screwed up in the business. It's off balance, and so to speak. We're off. We're jilted. We're messed up. We're verschimmeled. Whatever word you want to put to it. It has to be a whole. It has to be a roundness. And I love that one day you just said, I just sat down and I wrote this out about myself. I hope you still have that piece of paper somewhere or something, or tucked away, in your heart. Because that's important. That really is important, because it's in order for us to turn in, the first step is that self-awareness. Just simply saying, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm effed up and I'm messed up and I'm sick and tired. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to arrive to a destination like the Starbucks coffee shop and all is going to be cured and all will be well, because it is non-stop journey, destination, ride, walk, whatever you want to call it, until we leave this physical human body suit that we are in borrowed time in. So I love that you sat down and you did that, because you're right, ReeJade. A lot of people have a hard time, because we live in a negative society. I can tell you all the things that are wrong with me. But if you ask me just to write 5 things about that's good with me, people stump on that. People trip on that. They have a hard time. And I love that you did that. So first step today, everybody listening, get out that piece of paper and get a hold of those obsessions that I have of Sharpies or whatever, and write down everything, your beautiful value of yourself. Just keep going. Stay out of the negative. All right. Love that. Now, what's the next one for the leader besides starting with yourself, which is huge?
It's just really just after you the self-awareness is just getting started. I think sometimes we allow fear, just the fear of change, the fear of the unknown. It's just getting started, and getting started is the process of the self-awareness, number one, and then number two, taking action steps to clean your mess up, to not have a pity party, not to point the finger at anyone else, but to take responsibility and control over your own life. And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck, because they're like, well, they're operating on a whole bunch of misconceptions, and I was one of them as well. Like for me, I like to say, I did what I was supposed to do. I went to school, I got the job, I got married, had a dog at one point, had a baby, I had the quote unquote American dream, but yeah, I was still unhappy. I was in fact miserable. I was dying on the inside. And a lot of it had to do was because I hated myself.
Yeah.
And so when I started, it was slow. It didn't happen overnight. It really didn't. When I started the self-awareness process and started, cleaning up my mess, so to speak, like practicing working on my attitude, my temper, and cursing, and, meditating on positive things, getting out of the negative funk. I started to see things change in my behavior, how I respond to people, how I counseled people. Results in my life started to change just because my attitude changed, my mindset changed. So, but it was scary. Like for the first month I tried it, I kept going back and forth because I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. This is BS. Like I kept saying, like, this is stupid. Like, how does manifesting positive thoughts going to change my life? Like it just, because that's energy. That's in the spirit realm. That's not something you can reach out and touch. That's something you have to wholeheartedly believe in. For me, having a legal background, if I can't see it, touch it, it ain't real. But honestly, when I just started just really taking steps, like really focusing on improving myself, that's when I started seeing real results happen in my life. And I think that second step, like in becoming a leader, is just taking action, because oftentimes we procrastinate because of fear, because we don't know what results we're going to get. But I can tell you, if you just get started, you'll be better off than what you were yesterday. You can't get no worse.
Those baby steps, it's the baby, yes. It's those baby steps, and sometimes it's a big, huge, gigantic step, but it's those baby steps. It could be just one thing. I used to teach people, my fitness business, they would, hire me and they're like, oh my God. And I said, here's where you start. You just drink one more glass of water today than you normally would. That's all you do today. That's it. And people would look at me like, oh, come on. That's not going to make a difference. I want to lose weight by Friday, 20 pounds. It's like, okay, yeah. And it took you how long to put the 20 pounds on and you want it off by this Friday? It's like, no, we've got to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. And that's for any sort of a change. And also step into that fear. I always tease around, ReeJade. I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. And I'm like, fear, bring it on. We always got soap, water, and deodorant. Who cares?
Right.
And we do. We have to lighten things up. And that's one thing that you do. You are very direct, but you also bring some fun and lightness to the table but you also get the job done, and you are very direct. And I really, really, really like that about you. You'll laugh and, and joke around, but like I said, you get it done. So number one, start with you, self-awareness, turn on in. You heard ReeJade, she started with a list of everything her strengths, and then she even listed out her weaknesses too. I say start with those strengths, screw the weaknesses, get with the strengths, and then you can dabble into the weaknesses. Number two, is that action step and just getting started. And it's just, one small thing. Seriously, we want to conquer the world in one day. Just one small thing today, people. One small thing for yourself. Don't try to change other people, for yourself. One small thing. Just one small thing. What else, Miss ReeJade, can they do?
Yeah, and then the next thing, you have to like, when you're going through your growth process and your change process, you have to be around other like-minded people. There is no way you can change your mindset or your actions if you're around people that are not in line with what you're trying to do. Meaning your circle. What type of people are you hanging around? Are the people you around always constantly complaining about being broke? Are they always constantly, complaining about what somebody did to them? Like, you have to really evaluate, who are you around? Who are you listening to? Who are you taking advice from? Because in reality, those people that you are listening to and constantly around, you tend to pick up their habits. And there's no way for you to build yourself up if you're around people who are self-destructing. So it's all about being a part of the right circle. And you don't have to be around many. It only takes one. And sometimes that may just take you cutting everyone off. And that includes family too.
Yep.
You have to, like, I cut off a lot of family. A lot. You
Yep.
know. Um, and for me, it was a personal decision. I felt like certain family members were contributing to my self-destructiveness. And so I cut everything off at the roots. And unfortunately, it was some family members. And you have to be so vigilant with your future and where you're trying to go and your peace of mind. I always preach peace of mind above anything. Like, it's nothing, these past couple years, I have been in such a peaceful state, even though I go through a lot Kim knows, on a day-to-day basis, but I always have peace of mind. Like, I'm not stressed out. I'm not anxious. I'm not jittery. I'm not having panic attacks. I'm not having any of those things anymore. And it's all about, because I made the decision that I'm going to put me first before
Yep.
anyone. At the end of the day, I'm going to make sure ReeJade is taken care of, and then I can help other people. But if I'm not taken care of, how can I help others? And I think that's where people get caught up, their circle of friends. Who's influencing you? Who are you? I mean, because it's just natural. It's not like we say, like, oh, my friend is doing this, so I'm gonna do it. No, that's not how we think. It's just because you are around that person so much, or you interacting with, you tend to pick up their patterns. So for example, if a girlfriend is constantly calling you and she's complaining and complaining and complaining and being negative, guess what? That stuff is going to start affecting your attitude. You're going to start
Yes.
having a negative attitude because that's what you're taking in. So you have to be very careful of the conversations, number one, that you are having with yourself, and number two, the conversations that you're having with other people, because that can affect your results in life, personally and professionally, because you are imitating and emulating those behaviors that someone else is bestowing upon you. So for me, like, with someone, if it's not like a business related dispute and things like that, for someone just to call and just gossip and things, I hang up. Because I don't want those behaviors to impact my mood or attitude, because it's been times that I sit and I listen to friends complain about things, and as soon as they get out it's like they dump their stuff on me. And then I'm sitting there thinking about their mess and getting angry because they dumped on me.
Yep.
You have to be very, very, very careful about those things, because it hinders the growth process for you internally, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of those things. So it's just about getting around the right circle. And like I said, it only takes one. You just need a mentor. And for the longest, like I said in the beginning when I first started out, I didn't have a real physical, tangible mentor. So you know what? I created my own mentor. I looked at Oprah. I looked at Yala Van Zandt. I looked at Lisa Knuckles. I looked, listen to these, we have YouTube, we have podcasts, we have all these access to free information.
Yes.
There's no way, there's no longer an excuse to say, oh, I didn't have a mom to show me that. You can no longer make that excuse, ladies. There's so much information out here to help you get to where you want to go in life. The question becomes, are you willing to do the work? That's the real problem. Are you willing to do the work? Because it's not going to be handed to you. And
You know,
so, go ahead.
ReeJade, That four-letter word work, there's so much baggage attached to that word,
Mm-hmm.
and work doesn't just mean shoveling coal and getting out there and shoveling snow and raking and work and oh my God, I'm working so hard and I'm sweating. No, that's not the only thing. That's an exterior that to me that's an exterior definition, so to speak, to the word work. When I'm listening to you and I think of the word work, I come in and it's working on myself and it may be some kind of structure that I set up for myself that I do on a daily basis. And yes, I surround myself with like-minded individuals. And I also heard you say in there, when a friend or someone calls you and it's like blah, blah, puke, puke, project, blah, 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 puke, 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 and gossip and things like that. That's where we need to really sustain our boundaries as well. I'm not saying that we can't be there like as a friend or support for
Mm-hmm.
somebody. But, I'm one of those persons like, okay, you got 10 minutes. You've
Mm-hmm.
got 10 minutes to puke and project your stuff out. Just lay it out. Bitch about the husband, bitch about the other just bitch. 10 minutes. But then at 10 minutes, be ready to stop complaining and let's get into some solutions. And if they're not ready to get into the solutions, then I'm done. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to listen because it's going to go from 10 minutes today to 15 tomorrow to 20 the next to 30 the next, and then it's going to be nonstop. And you're right. And it does affect us. I mean, for me personally, it drains me of energy, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two,
Yeah.
then my energy starts going down and then my brain is going. And then, we've got, like you said, we have so much access out there. Then we've got, the news on the TV is negative. And then the shit on Facebook can sometimes be negative. And, we've got all this stuff that if you bring that into your energetic world, you're not going to see positive out there. All you are is going to see negative, and you will start just attracting nothing but negative. So gather yourself with some strong, like-minded people. Line yourself up a mentor. Hire a life coach or a business coach, whatever word you want to put to that, and really step in to a powerful group of a village of peeps that are walking down the same road, so to speak, like the rest of us, which ooh, that's a great segue, ha ha ha, that I can lead into what you're doing for this October here in the beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan.
Oh yeah, great here over here. Yes, so we are gearing up for our third annual Leadership from Women Summit, and the idea behind that initially was to create a generation of 1 million women leaders. By providing personal development and professional development resources. Because what I have found through my personal leadership journey is that there's no balance and there's no leadership programs that cater specifically towards the needs of women, because the needs for a woman in leadership is different from a man's needs. Not to say that we don't need leadership. We do, in the fact that we wear so many roles. Like I said in the beginning, like we are mothers, sisters, best friends, aunts, bosses, managers, whatever have you will. And we wear those multiple hats and we're expected to do it gracefully, in heels, with a smile on our face. And sometimes it's just impossible to do. And so Leadership for Women, the summit, initially the idea behind it was to help women be, have that balance factor, to help them, show them how to truly live life versus someone telling them, but to show them how to do it and to give them tangible tools to utilize, that they don't have to wait 3-4 months from the date that they attended the summit. Because what happens when we go to these summits and conferences, we get all these goodies, we get all this information, we write it all down, and we do nothing with it.
Yep.
Leadership from Women, it was not designed to do that. It was designed for you to take action on the day, right then and there. And that's what I loved about it. And that's why the setup I had last year was so intimate, because the goal was to get real women in there to get real solutions to their real problems. Not this fluff and hitting on the surface of things. No, it was all about getting to the core, the meat and potatoes of the matter, so they can, use this information and tools and resources to take their lives to the next level. And so with that being said, after thinking about it, Kim, you already know I had made the decision to turn Leadership for Women not only into a movement, but into a nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
organization. And
Yep.
so we have already filed our paperwork to get that going, because I recognize that it is truly needed. And then also about Leadership for Women, it's a diverse dynamic of women. So it's not just young women, it's not just middle-aged women, old women. It's so diverse. Like last year, our demographics range from 18 to 56.
Yep. Yep. That was great. And that was a wonderful summit that you hosted, and it's going to be even more beautiful this year. And I don't look at demographics like age. I mean, age is age to me. It's just another number. And I love being in the room with someone who's young. But you had somebody in the room this past October who I think probably latter 40s, early 50s, was just really stepping into her dream and starting her business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
see, that's what I love. So we can all go, yay. I mean, I want to run to Toys R Us with those pom-poms. I want to cheer her on and say, how are you doing? How are you overcoming the challenges? How are you doing all of that? But you're right. I agree with you is, don't just go to these events and get all warm and fuzzy and walk out and do no follow-up and, whatever. Because what's the point? Well, why are you even coming there? Connect, collaborate, meet some like-mindeds. Maybe partner up with somebody and walk out of there and start a mentorship weekly call or monthly call or something like that. I mean, take the stuff that ReeJade offers at at her summit and really, as I call it, caramelize it. Really caramelize it, and put things into action. And that's how we grow. That's how we leverage. That's how we up level. That's how we change and become better and more confident and more strategic in our lives, so to speak, and in our businesses, even though our lives and businesses are not separate. All right, Miss ReeJade, how can everyone get in touch with you, please?
Well, I'm pretty much everywhere nowadays. So I'm on Facebook at ReeJade Richmond, and I'm also on my business page is facebook.com/search for her existence. And then also I have a website. It's two. They can go to either one. My assistant Tina will let me know. The easiest one to remember is www.leadership4woman.org. And then the other one is searchforherexistence.com. So either way, I'm generally responsive because I have no life. My mind life. So I have to keep myself entertained. So yeah, I'm usually quick at responding to messages. Generally speaking.
All right, everybody, she does have a life. She's got an amazing 2-year-old baby, and who is so special to me. I just adore her. Who has some challenges, and who is going to. ReeJade, every time I say that about Zoe, it's like, this girl does not have challenges, and she's going to take those challenges and she's going to cram them in your face. And that is going to be your daughter. And when you text me and say, this is what's going on with her, I'm going to say, that apple didn't fall far from that tree. Okay. Hello, move on. Let's hear, and you have, I've never had the opportunity of meeting your husband. You have a wonderful husband, I can tell, but, you do. You have a very beautiful life. You work very hard at these summits. It's no easy task and feat hosting events like this. You've surrounded yourself with a beautiful group of women, and you let nothing get in your way. You go after huge sponsorships. You just find out who that person is, and you're in front of them, and you get what you ask for, which is another whole other show, by the way, on asking, A-S-K, not A-S-S. Asking. Women have a hard time asking. There's so much there. But you ask, you shall receive in some ways, shapes, or forms. So you've got a lot going on. You've got some full plates going on there. All right, so here's the deal. I've got some questions that you don't know about. And you don't get to sit there and think about them, Harvard. I want you to jump into that big, huge heart of yours and just come on out with these answers. So what we measure determines our success. So how do you measure your success?
Honestly, it's something I'm personally still struggling with, acknowledging my accomplishments. I just honestly started, and Kim, you know this about me as well. I tend to be behind the scenes. So even though I do these great things, I'm very low key.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wear my accomplishments on my shoulder. And one of the things that I have personally been working on in my leadership development journey is it's okay to toot your own horn. Because I grew up in a house where that was not okay. And so, acknowledging my successes and wins is something that's very, very hard. And with that being said, it's so hard for me to measure it because I honestly just, it's not normal for me to think about stuff like that.
Something, and we also come in a society, we're not supposed to toot our own horns, especially women, because now you're conceited and now you're bragging, and all those labels that we have. But yes, I know that you said that to me one day after you came over here for lunch. You're like, I'm always behind the scenes. My goal, my leadership personal development goal this year, I'm paraphrasing, these are not your exact words, is to step out and shine more. And I just went, oh, you said that in front of Kim Boudreaux Smith. Watch out. So I'm like, woo wee, I can't wait to give you, and which I do. I periodically, when I have a window of opportunity, I give you those little swift kicks in the tushies and then step back and stuff. But, and you're open to that. So here's your next question. What has been your largest challenge to date that you have turned into an opportunity?
I just think with the business overall, because when I first started it was from a place of lack. I didn't have any guidance, mentorship, or anything from what I was going through. I was the only female at the law firm, and then only African American at that. And so I was dealing with a lot of different things at once, being the first generation to go to college, yet alone go to graduate school and to graduate, not working, in my family, a traditional fast food chain job or retail job. I was the first of, many in my family to even make it happen. So, with all those different, for me, it was the pressure. Everything is on my shoulder. And so that's pretty much, she came from that place of lostness, no guidance. And I felt like if I was going through this, I knew it had to be other women out there experiencing the same thing I was experiencing. But as women, we tend to, they tell us to suck it up, right? They tell us to put our big girl panties on. Yep. And so, especially when you're in corporate America, you just don't talk about those things because it's so cutthroat. You might lose your job if you, show a sign of weakness. You just never know. And so there was no outlets to go to get assistance, especially in the legal field. The legal field is so cutthroat. And it's mostly men dominated as well. And so that was just something that, that was very hard. So I created She as a outlet. Initially, it was just a hobby, just to kind of decompress. And then eventually I started working on it and I started helping myself, And so that's honestly, my business really came out of a place of need for myself personally at a time where I was at my lowest.
That's usually how it all starts. It starts from something we have walked into. We've taken our talk and we are walking it. And that's how a lot of things get birthed. And that's how, when people throw the word around authenticity, I'm authentic. I get a little bored with that because so many, I'm authentic. Look at me. No, that's true authenticity. That's, to me, is the truth and the definition of authenticity. That's the truth of transparency, is where we birth something from what we have gone through. We see it. It helps us. It doesn't cure us because there's no cure all, it doesn't ever end because, tomorrow's another day and the day after. And then we take that and we're able to turn that in. It's our dream and we turn it into a viable business. I think that is beautiful. All right. Now, what one thing or tool, you call it whatever you want, ReeJade, that you do or utilize for yourself to continue to push yourself to stretch and grow?
One thing that I do is I kind of look at I always look at what I have done. Like I tend to look back to see how far I've come because again, like I said, I used to be a hot mess. And then I like writing lists. And so I sit down and I write a list of where I want to go. Like Kim already shared with you like some things that I wanted to do this year, such as like open a natural beauty bar. So it's just like I'm always constantly looking at where I'm currently at and trying to refine myself and to see how I can better help the community as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. I can't wait for that. So have you ever felt like giving up?
All the time. I mean, probably at least 6 to 7 times a week. Like literally, no joke. Like definitely, at least 6 to 7 times per week, maybe more than that.
I love it.
And honestly, what ends up happening, this is how it happens. When I'm about to give up, right? Some woman always messages me and sends me a testimonial like, I really appreciate you working with me. Like, this is my results. Or they send me something to show me how they got results. Like one client of mine recently, I coached her for 30 days and she was in a place of depression with her nonprofit and some things happened. But nonetheless, she turned it all around within 30 days, restarted the program, got new mentors, got new mentees. Like she reorganized everything in 30 days. And then she sent me a text saying, thank you. I feel so much alive. Like I feel like I found my passion again. And it just made me like, well, oh, damn it. Now I can't quit. So but yeah, I always get those random texts from my clients, like, and it be at the weirdest hours of the night. It's not like during normal business hours. It's like, and I think my clients appreciate that too because I have an open door policy. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you can always contact me, you know. But if you're not willing to do the work, don't even bother messaging my phone. That's how I operate. And it's like I try to be so hands-on because it's not enough just to get people pen and paper type of work. You need to really work with people. You need to really hold people's hand when they go through this leadership journey process.
Yep.
And I think that's why a lot of my clients appreciate me because I'm literally holding their hand. It's not like, okay, here's your work, go do it. We'll talk back in 2 weeks. No, I'm constantly checking up on them. I'm constantly harassing them like boot camp J drill sergeant, like literally. Like I'm all up in your business. I want to know what's going on in that relationship, what's going on at your job. Like I need to know so I can understand the patterns that you are creating for yourself.
Yep. Yep. And we all need that. We all need that intense accountability at different points and times in our life. Sometimes we need that daily. Sometimes, once a month I'm good, I mean, It just all depends on where we're at. Everybody is different. Okay. Now, as a CEO of your business, how do you start your day? What do you do?
Well, before a baby or after a baby?
Let's do it this morning after a baby.
Well, this morning, I really didn't have anything planned today. Generally on Sundays and Mondays, I pick 2 days out of the week where I don't do anything. I just kind of like decompress. Like it's me and my daughter's like fun day to kind of relax and, just spend time for me to get whatever I need to get done in the house and things like that. But generally on a normal work day for me is I get up early. Of course, I try to get up before my daughter. 9 times out of 10, she wakes up before me because I am not a morning person. But after I get her up and, clean and feed her, I generally check my emails, give me some tea going. And then I'm looking at, then I look at I use Evernote. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes. Yep.
Yep, I
Yep.
use Evernote, and I pretty much I go back over my checklist because I keep a tab of everything that's on my to-do list. Then I look at my emails because my assistant, she's actually in the Philippines, so she's in a totally different time zone. So I check my emails from her to see if there's anything pressing. I make sure, I check the, business accounts, make sure everything looking good. And then I reevaluate my goals for the month. Like every month I set a financial goal for myself. And and then I write down a list to let me know how much I need to do and allocate in order to accomplish this goal. So that's pretty much what I do. I write down, I'm like a listing goal type of gal.
Yeah, you're
Like,
the taskmaster girl. You
yeah,
are cha-chung.
yeah, and then I just check it off. And then for me, like what I have found is when I do listing things, when I accomplish them and check them off, I feel a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like that really makes me happy. Like I feel like, oh wow, I did it. I got that shit done. And
Yep.
so I feel like a boss. And so that's why I do the list.
Yep. Isn't it? I'm the same way. I don't know. There's just something about when I write things down and can check them off or do a strike through. I mean, even if it's just like, okay, I've got to run to Targets, Whole Foods, and I have it all right now. And when I get back in the car, I get to strike that off. I don't know what is so empowering about that. And I know it's a sense of an accomplishment. Okay. Here is another question. As a CEO of your business, how do you end your day?
Knocked out. Knocked out, or texting Kim, sending her pictures of Zoe. I'm
Yeah.
not. At the end of the day, I'm really, trying to, wind down, like spend it with my daughter or my husband, one or the other, or I'm watching TV because I really don't get to really spend too much time, like just relaxing because I'm so busy all the time doing stuff, either if it's with my daughter or for myself, personally with my health. So I really don't have that much time to decompress like I do. But when I do, like I said, I set designated days so I don't feel so overwhelmed with, with me working constantly like I do. Like I said, Kim, I'll go get my hair done. I'll go get manis,
Yep.
petties, go
Yep.
shopping, go out to eat.
Mhm.
Me and Zoe go out to eat 5-star restaurants. Like that's what we do.
Yeah, you care for yourself. I mean, I don't think a lot of women do that. I think they get into the estrogen guilt. Oh, I shouldn't go get a manicure. We really can't afford it. It's like, okay, if you really, really, truly, bills are due and you really can't afford, I mean, really, come on, you can't find $15 to really go high five yourself and whatever it takes, whatever they care for. So, okay, if you really can't do the mani pedi or whatever, how about if you draw a hot bath? I mean, boy, close that
Well,
bathroom
even
door,
that.
lock it, and draw a hot bath,
Some
and
candles.
take some music in there and some candles, and I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do in the winter time. I don't do that in the summertime. All right. Last but not least, we are just about done. Really quickly, one more time, give your website so everybody can get into. I can't believe how fast this hour went. Let everybody know how they can get in touch with you again in your website.
Yep, I'm on Facebook, ReeJade Richmond. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/search for her existence. Both websites, leadership for FOR, women.org, and then my business website, my other business is search for FOR, herexistence.com.
I love it. Reach out to ReeJade, please. All right, let's wrap the show up here really quickly. ReeJade, is there any other one more real life golden nugget on top of all the ones that you've already offered us today? One more last insight to support, the one woman out there that's struggling, that's listening today.
I guess I would have to say, just don't just start. Just understand that your journey is for you. Like you can't compare your journey to anyone else's. Like it's okay if you, I don't know, I'm like, it's okay if you were a liar, a thief, a blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter what you were yesterday. The question becomes, what do you want to be today? What do you want to be tomorrow? And you just start taking steps to get there. And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck. They're too busy focused on what they currently are instead of focusing on what they can be.
Yep. Yep. I think that is beautiful. Just get started. Don't compare yourself. When we compare ourselves, guess what happens? Knocks down the self-esteem, the self-confidence. Then we start feeling even more shitty about ourselves. And just move forward. Just do it. Accept it. Know that sometimes it's not perfect. I don't believe in perfection. Know that it is what it is. Sometimes it may be messy. Sometimes it may be the most sparkling, beautiful thing in the whole wide world. But just to move forward and just move forward. And by the way, reach out. Reach out to someone like ReeJade. You can reach out to me. There's so many others out there that have gone through this. And by the way, you heard her. 7 times in a week. Sometimes she even thinks about quitting. And I do the same thing too. I am freaking done. Enough of this. Reach out. We go through it too. Even though we have been around for a while and we've got these great businesses, that doesn't mean we're always doing phenomenal. We have our moments. We just know how to reach into the tool bag of life and pull a tool out or reach out to a support team or, whatever. So do the same, ladies and gentlemen that are all out there listening. Do the same by all means. So ReeJade, thank you so much for being my guest today and kicking off my new show and my new day and time.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Yep. So I just want to recap here really quick. Number 1, you start with you. Number 2, get into the action steps. And number 3, really gather yourselves around with like-minded individuals. And October 22nd, here in the beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan, ReeJade will be hosting her 3rd annual summit. So get in touch, get your ticket, come on down, come party with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a ton of wonderful information there. You'll be seeing a lot of the promotions going on social media here real soon. But if you don't want to wait for the promotions, just grab ReeJade and find out more information about it. We have a blast. It's going to be a beautiful day. We do have a lot of fun here. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being there with us. And as I relaunch the real life chats with Kim on Monday afternoon at 1:00, nothing like jump starting the week. That's what I like to do. Let's jumpstart the week. And, thank you, everybody, for supporting Bold Radio Station on the relaunch and the repartnering with Lynn Brunette, and you'll be seeing more about stuff like that as well. ReeJade, go out there, hug that little baby Zoe for me. Give her a big, huge smooch on the cheek from Auntie Kim. And thank you again for being my guest. Get out there, everybody. Take that first step of change.
Thanks for joining yet another Real Life Chats with Kim. Come on back next week, same place and time, where the boldest of bolds share their truths.